I've been on a deep dive into chords used by Japanese math rock bands, and I've discovered 7 that define that unique Japanese sound. So in this video, I'll share these chords with you, and you can get a downloadable chord chart containing tons more chords just like them. To start, let me quickly show you how these chords work so you have a clear idea of how you can use them. I've been fascinated with understanding how Japanese math rock sounds so different. At shows I was lucky enough to go to in Japan, and when watching these bands online, I'd always find my eyes glued to their fretboards like a hawk, trying to work out what they were doing. What I did find is that a lot of them were playing in alternate tunings, making things much harder to decode. But even so, I was able to work out 2 large distinctions with the types of chords they were using, which these Mario Lego bad guys will help explain. So chords are made up of notes, and in Japanese math rock they use a lot of these major and minor 7 chords, which are made up of 4 notes. These are the main types of chords that were used, but to get that ambiguous kind of Japanese math rock sound, what I found is that they often switch out one of these notes for a different note. And so the stack will look slightly different, or they may even swap out 2 of the notes, like so, with 2 different ones. This chord will still have its kind of original identity, but it'll have a unique identity by switching out 1 or 2 of the notes. So the other way is to take your typical major or minor 7 chord, like so, and then switch out the root note for a different one. What we have here are the same notes in a different order, and it gives a slightly different, more ambiguous sound to your chord. But what are these chords and how do you play them? Well, let me show you 7 of what I think really capture that unique Japanese sound. First, let's focus on chords that swap out notes. And keep in mind, some of these chords might be played in different tunings, but here I will show them all in standard to make things easier for you. Take your regular C major 7 chord and swap out this 3rd for the 9th, and you get a C major 7 sus2 sound, which sounds a bit more ambiguous, like you would hear in Japanese math rock. And to play this voicing on the low E string, we would play it that way. And this chord alone has helped me write a song I called Incandescent. But even while this chord is killer, there's another that I think defines the sound even more. So take a C major 9 chord and replace this 3rd with the 2nd, and you get a C major 9 sus2, which sounds even more ambiguous. And this chord I found in a song called Search by a Japanese band called Pens Plus, and it goes a little bit like this. Oh, and there's another killer chord in the song you might want to try, but it's a bit of a stretch, and it's this suspended 2nd, suspended 4th chord. When you play it up here, a bit more of a stretch, but it resolves lovely to this major 2nd inversion. And speaking of inversions, let's look at some that Japanese math rock bands use to get that signature sound. So the inversion I want you to learn here derives from this major 7 voicing. And you'll hear this in songs like Throwing Shapes by Minus the Bear, or Heir Apparent by American Football. The Japanese math rock band Toe uses this chord in quite a few different songs, albeit in different tunings, but we can still do this in standard. But they will make use of an inversion of this chord, and they'll put the 3rd in the root position. So this note here, they'll put that into root position. Get this lovely ambiguous chord. You'll hear this sound in the song Kodoku no Hatsume. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right or playing it correctly. And you'll also hear it in the song Tremolo plus Delay. If you want to play this inversion from the E string root, you can do it like that. And notice how much more tension it has compared to the regular major 7. You could also play this in the 5th position again in a slightly different way for more tension. So if we go, sounds lovely and tense. Now that you got some fresh new chords under your belt to get that signature Japanese sound, watch this video next where you'll learn one of the best Japanese chord progressions you can apply these chords to. Thanks for watching. A big thanks to the Patreons that make this kind of content possible. If you're interested in supporting the channel, then check out the links down below in the description.